Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the man cave, and this is the X-Fly C-17 Quad 40. All right, sent to me by X-Fly via my wallet, $319, and I made the purchase, and here it is. All right, she made of lightweight, strong EPO. She got a 47-inch wingspan. She's 45 inches long. Unloaded without, I don't know, probably without 97 grams without the battery. Flying weight is 1560 grams with a suggested battery of, I think it's like a 2200 up to a 4000 4S. 12 blade 40 millimeter EDFs. Each of those EDFs are 1413s with a KV of 5000 times 4. 4 20 amp speed controllers. Center the CG is 145 millimeters from leading edge root, which is where the wing actually touches the fuse. Flying duration 3 to 8 minutes. Of course, going throttle management. I'll probably set my first flight for 3.5 minutes, like I normally would. It's got 7 9-gram servos, probably plastic. This isn't that big of a plane. Fixed gear, steerable nose wheel. 5 channel, so you need there is no such thing as a 5-channel receiver. So either you got 4, 6, 7, or 8, or 10, and so you need at least 5 channels. So you got aileron, elevator, throttle, rudder, steerable nose wheel, steering, and flap. So aileron, elevator, throttle, rudder, flap. And I guess if you want, you can put the nose wheel on a separate channel, but I'm sure it can be tied in with your rudder. So that would eliminate a channel. 4S is recommended for a 4S 2600 up to 4000. So 2600 up to 4000. Intermediate skill at 15 minutes build time. So let's unbox it. Now I've opened it up just to make sure that everything was there, but I haven't taken anything out of the box. Right here is as far as I've gotten. Opened it up. So let us proceed. And as usual, with all these companies, everything's packed to where you can drop it off the back of a truck. Now, I love the fact manual is not folded. Other companies, take a page from X-Fly. Don't fold your manuals. Don't just throw them in there wherever they'll fit. Okay? And inside this bag with your manual is also all the screws you're going to be needing. And they supply the tools you need. And all you're going to need is looks like two different sizes. I'm going to say a 2 millimeter hex drive and a 1.5 millimeter hex drive. All right, so cool. I'll verify that before we start putting her together. Let me get you a little bit closer here. Okay. Oh. I'm screwing up already. What the heck's on the ground there? Well, always check your little nooks and crannies. That's your little winglets there and Velcro. Okay. Got your first wing. Spar is already installed, so that's nice. Very nice foam. Now these are stickers, not decals, and that's okay. I would prefer decals because then you can see the background. Must be some weak points, but good looking plane. Good looking. Ball links, you're going to have to hook up your flaps, and that's fine. This is where you attach those winglets. The aileron's already attached. Got a pinch hinge, but it does have laminate in there. Let me pull this. Same thing. You've got a pinch hinge, and looks like it's good quality pinch hinge. But this is not a... Yeah, there's laminate on the underside there. So that's good. Kind of heavy, but you got your 2 motors and speed controllers already in there. Quick connect, XT60, and then all your, that's for the power, for the motors, and then that's for all your electronics, your flaps and your ailerons there. Okay, then you got your second wing. Same thing. Quick connects. Make sure there's no foam in there. Decals are already applied. That's good looking, isn't it? All right. Everything's got its own little supports molded just for it. Make sure there's nothing in there. Okay. All right, now these on your fuse, these quick connects, they are kind of free floating, so you might want to just put your little drop of glue just to make sure, because they just push in. But you know what? They don't go any further in, so maybe pull them out to connect and then let them push back in. I don't think that's going to be an issue, to be honest with you. Landing gear is alrighty. We had a little interruption in service there. Well, anyways, as I was saying, the landing gear, don't worry about, even though these do kind of come out a little bit, don't let that worry you. They won't go any further in, so they have a stopping point. Okay, landing gear is already installed. You could remove them, but I don't see a reason to. They're pretty low profile, and that's just a good looking model right there. That really is. All right, you already got the rudder is already hooked up for you. Okay, let's take a look inside the battery bay. Actually, you have 2 hatches here. Okay, got that hatch there, where you have access to your rudder and elevator. Well, actually, rudder. That's your rudder servo. And it is hooked up to the nose gear, so you will have a free channel. There's your elevator lead, and that just tells me I'm putting my, if I have enough room, I'll probably put my receiver back there. Okay, let's open up this latch here. Okay, big old battery bay underneath here. And everything is labeled. Plenty of room, so yeah, you could definitely run everything back there and get that receiver on the other side. But you know what? Depending on where the CG is, I may not do that. So, all right, I might have the battery up here and the receiver back here. Just depends on the CG. So, and you know where you're going, because you have to move your battery around. You don't want the receiver to be in the way. So, establish your CG and then place your receiver accordingly so you don't get in the way. Good looking model. All right, let's get all of our tools together, which isn't going to be much. And let's start building this bad boy. We'll be right back. All righty, I'm back. And as it turns out, you're only going to need a 2mm. The 1.5mm, or the smaller, will be what's used to adjust the servos, if you need to. So you're going to need a 2mm for the main build of the plane, 2mm. Or the larger of the 2 Allen wrenches that come in the kit. Now, this is specific and you need to pay attention. Don't worry about the wings right now. Right now, let's worry about putting this elevator on. Now, there's two different size screws that you're going to need, and the larger of the two go towards the rear, okay? You're going to have one 12 or 16 millimeter, which is the largest screw in your kit, okay? And then you take one 12 millimeter screw, which is the second size in your kit, one of each. And you'll end up with one of these 16 millimeters left over and one of these 12 millimeters left over, okay? So grab your elevator. Now, here you've got both of your elevators that are already tied to a Y, okay? And remember polarity. Now, on a servo, the yellow wire or the white wire, whatever the lightest color, is always the signal wire. The red wire or the middle wire is always the positive power, and then the brown or black wire is always the negative power. Okay, and that's always the way it is on servos. And they've shown it to you up here in the top. Okay, and it's listed as negative, positive, and then signal. So the yellow wire is going to go towards the rear or the signal wire. So that's how you're going to hook that up. See, the yellow will hook up towards the rear. Okay? So I'm going to do that now. Let me get you okay, centered. You can see what I'm doing. Okay? So I'm going to hook up the yellow to the rear. Okay, those two locking pins kind of brace my model. Okay, and that should click, and it clicks right into place. And then back here is where I'm going to put the larger of those two screws. Let them wires just kind of fold down in there. Okay, or better yet, they had a space. Feed them back up in there. There's room for them. Okay. Make sure nothing is pinched. Okay. And that's just going to feed down in that pocket. You might have to finagle with it a little bit. But remember, a tight-fitting model is a good model. All right. I'm going to take the longer of the two, and it's going to go towards the rear. Make sure everything presses in there. Drop your screw. Always drop a screw at least once, because that's just law. Drive. Put your hand underneath the other side. Okay. Drive that puppy on hold. You can press on a little bit. Okay, like that. The other one. Press down. There we go. That one went in the pocket like it's supposed to. And don't tighten it all the way down. Leave it off just a little bit, and you might want to use that as a pivot point. There we go. See? Now that fits in there. Yeah. Put your hand, I've got my fingers underneath it, supporting it. That is a good sound. And it has a very obvious stopping point. Okay. Yeah, that's on there. All right. Now, turn our model over. This would be a good time to have a plane stand ready, which I didn't. Turn the model over. Okay. As you can see, got our connection points here. Okay. Take the appropriate wing. Okay. This is going to slide in there, and you're going to be hooking this up from the top. See how the green, how these are going to fit together? Should just slide right on in there. Okay, up, up, up. You see what happened? It pushed that back in there. So, Okay. Let me see what I can do to fix that. Okay, you can put your finger down in there and push that right back out again. Yeah. All right. So yeah, this is a good idea to get that lined up. Okay. Pull that quick. That's why they don't have it locked in there. So don't do what I said and glue it in. Okay. Get it, pull it out, and plug that puppy in like I'm doing here. Okay. And like any other connection, it's going to be a little tight at first. Okay. Just kind of wiggle it on in there. Okay. Let's go ahead, turn the model over. Okay. Pull this connection out just because it gives you something to grab a hold of. Okay. Go ahead and hook it up. Get your wing part started. Okay. Well, sometimes there's a little bit of debris in there. Get it started. Maybe. There we go. Then you get this. See how I'm hooking these up? It's obvious how they go. The yellow goes into yellow. The green goes into the green. Might be a little tight at first, but that's okay too. Let me... Yeah. It only fits one way. And like I say, it's a little tight at first. Okay. But that's okay. You might have to take it off and put it back on there a few times. Make sure everything's hooked up right. There we go. Sometimes that's all you got to do. All right, now you got your 4 connection points. Okay, and that is the 12 millimeter hex drives. Okay. Grab the right tool. And I'm just using my tool because I'm more comfortable with my own tools. Nothing wrong with the Allen wrenches they give you. It's just these are more comfortable. Just get them finger tight once they bottom out. Okay. And I always like to hook everything up in a crisscross pattern. Anytime I'm doing a wing like this or anything like this, I like doing a crisscross pattern. Bottom it out and then just finger tight's all you need. Okay. This is a very well designed model. Okay, and as I predicted, and once you're done building it, you're going to have one long screw and one short screw left over. All right. Now, next step. Go ahead and take our winglets out. All right, we're back. Okay, now you're going to have to connect these winglets, okay? And they're like pieces of a puzzle. It's obvious how they fit on there, but you're going to have to get them to glue on there, okay? So let's turn the model over. And let's prepare our surface for gluing. I suggest having some blue painter's tape handy. Okay. And I suggest a sanding block on this part, on the plastic part. And the part that's going to be touching the foam, I'm going to mar that up just a little bit. Okay. You're going to tell you marred it up a little bit, maybe even make a few scratches in it with your tool. Okay. Then I'm going to take good old Chinese glue. I'm going to mar up the surface where they're going to touch. Maybe even take my sanding block a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to take my Chinese glue. Okay. Not going to go crazy with it, but enough. Always get it on your fingers. It's good for your skin. At least I just tell that to myself. Lay that on there. Let that sit on there for a few seconds. Okay. Pull it away. Let it get stringy. A little bit of air in there. And I'm going to put it right back down. Okay. I'll run my finger on the underside there to keep the air out of it. Okay. And then I'm going to take this. That's why I like painter's tape, because it doesn't really stick all that well, but it'll hold a piece like this in place. Okay. Just kind of lay it on just enough to hold that in place. Okay. And that way I can do the other side. Just don't hit it. I'm letting gravity be my friend there, and that tape hold it in place. Okay. All right. Now, see this end here? I'm going to take it. Take the corner of my sanding block. Just kind of rough that area up. Then I'm going to go to my piece, my winglet. And I'm just going to sand the surface up. You see little spots in there. Maybe even take my tool, make little marks in it. Then I'm going to take my tool here. That just gives more area for the foam, the glue to get into. Okay. Put my finger down there, got that glue in there. I'm going to pull it away. It's get stringy. Put it back down. Okay. It's obvious how it fits on there. Take me a piece of painter's tape. I mean, look, it's even being held by its own pressure there. Piece of painter's tape. And just kind of hold that down for a little while. That way I can walk away and be prepared for the rest of this build, which is basically done now. Alrighty. So you'll just need a small amount of whatever. You could use CA, you could use contact cement, just whatever you want to use that's going to be foam safe. Okay. To attach those winglets. Okay. And yeah, there you go, folks. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to this build. Okay. All the decals are applied. Everything's ready to go. Come back. Stay tuned. We'll come back with another video. We're going to put an AR631 Spectrum receiver in there. We're going to set it up, and I'm going to show you how to do forward programming and do an updated version on how to do forward programming and all that. We'll have to pull the camera over here so you can see my transmitter. But we're going to set it up. And folks, just because this is a jet, it works. The principles I'm going to teach you about how to do forward programming and setting up a plane and a transmitter, it works for any plane. This happens to be a jet. Same principle though. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for watching. That was the unbox and basic assembly of the X-Fly C-17 40mm quad. God bless y'all, and don't forget, faith, family, and friends, God is good. And let's go keep them in the air, and let's go put this to the radio. Let's go fly it. Bye, y'all.